Have you ever come home and you've been in a rush and you're just trying to figure out what can I get on the table in a hurry, and you want it to be healthy and you want it to be wholesome and you want it to be complete? Let me show you. Come stir fry with me. Ready to stir fry? Have the right equipment. Number one, have a heavy skillet on hand, a spoon that has slots in it to remove some of the food pieces, a spatula that you would use to move the food around because you need to move it very rapidly, and you can have either one of these assortments of oils. Today we're going to be using chicken in the stir fry, and all we want to remember thin, because when you think thin, it's going to cook very rapidly. So you want to cut it into very thin strips so it can cook very rapidly. If not chicken, you can have a meat of your choice. But look at what we have. We have it already pre-cut in thin strips, just waiting to be stir fried. As you remember, anytime you're doing a stir fry, you want to make sure that you already have yourself organized and you have all your products already together, because a stir fry is going to be very quick. If you get that oil going and it's about to burn and you're trying to chop up an onion, that is not a good time to do it. You want to pre-cut your vegetables. And just for an example, we have a wide array of wonderful, healthy, colorful vegetables today. We have broccoli, and if you notice, everything is going to be thinly cut or chopped or in a match stem form, because remember, we want to think thin when you're doing a stir fry. We have carrots today. If you was trying to chop up this cauliflower at the last minute, it won't work very well. You see, we have everything nicely cut up and thin. And of course, we have fresh mushroom, and not in chunks. Everything needs to be thin. And wonderful, healthy red pepper that could be in larger strips, but it's best if it's more finely cut up. And we also have some wonderful onion to give it a nice flavor today. Now we're ready to stir fry, actually. First, you have to put about a tablespoon, very light amount of oil in the pan. You want to tilt this pan to make sure the oil completely covers the bottom. And then you want to put it on the fire and you want to heat it until it's very hot. I'm going to show you what hot is in just a minute. Are you ready to stir fry and you want to know whether your oil is hot enough or not? Drop it in and see if it sizzles. It's sizzled. It's ready. We're ready to stir fry. So the very first thing we're going to add to this stir fry today is a thinly strips of chicken. And you want to remember that you're going to move this around a lot so that it does not stick. So that's why the tongue comes in very handy. And I only need to cook this until the chicken is white. Just a few minutes. Remember, the stir fry is a quick method of getting food on the table. Remember to move it around. Don't let it sit, otherwise it'll stick. The first thing we added to this pan was the oil, allowed it to get very hot. And now we're stir frying the chicken. And when you do a stir fry, the thing you want to remember is you want to also think layers. So the very first thing you're going to start off with are the things that takes longer to cook. And the thing that takes the longest to cook today is the chicken. Sometimes in some of the recipes you might find they might start out with the garlic just to kind of season the oil. But today we're going to be adding onion a little bit later. As you can see, I'm moving this around. And I don't know whether you can see it or not, but this chicken is white. And so it's at this point that we can go ahead and add the wonderful vegetables to this stir fry. Watch us as we put this quick healthy meal together. So now in come our red peppers, adding some color to the stir fry. In comes the onion, gives it a nice flavor. All we have to do is toss and stir for about another minute. See how it all is coming together. This meal can be on the table in a matter of minutes. The heat is still steaming highly under the skillet. And now we are going to add the other vegetables. We have carrots that are thinly sliced, broccoli, cauliflower. Now we remember, when you do a stir fry, think thin, think layers. We put the chicken in first. Of course, the oil was in first, then we stirred in the chicken, cooked it until it was white. Then we added in the onion, the red pepper. Now we have the wonderful color here with the broccoli, cauliflower. We're going to now add about a half a cup of water. And we're going to cover this and let it just cook for just a couple minutes before we do the final touches. We add the final touches to it. Isn't that a beautiful, wonderful meal? The very last thing in this recipe, and of course it can vary, the very last thing in this recipe we're going to add the mushroom, because the mushrooms only take about a minute. The other vegetables and all the other things took about 3 to 5 minutes because you want it crisp and, remember, quick. And the very last thing that we're going to add to this could be any seasoning or sauce that you might want to add. If you want to make your own sauce, you can make a homemade one. If you wanted to, you can also buy a commercially purchased one. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with the commercially prepared one today. It's all tossed and ready. When you're ready to add the sauce, it's a good idea to move your vegetables to the side. I am using a commercial sauce today. We're going to add the sauce on the side. Allow the sauce to become very hot. And you can add as little or as much as you want to. The other thing you can do, if you're in a hurry and you want to buy and you don't have the time to chop the vegetables, you can buy the frozen vegetables. But when you buy the frozen vegetables, you want to make sure that you have them thawed out. Some recipes will tell you can cook them without thawing them out. And then you want to have them well drained. You want to get rid of as much liquid as you possibly can. Believe it or not, this stir fry is ready for the brown rice that we already have steamed over here. And so what we'll do next is we can show you how you can make this a complete meal. Everything in one skillet. Not a lot of cleanup. And we'll serve it over rice. Guess what? We have one quick meal ready to be served. There are a few things I want you to remember when making a stir fry. 1, remember to have all foods prepared ahead of time. 2, make sure you cut things up very thin and in a uniform fashion. 3, make sure your oil is hot. And 4, don't overcrowd your pan that you're cooking in, because if you overcrowd the pan, it's not going to stir fry, it is going to stew. Important points to remember. Enjoy stir frying.